In the misty hue of the night, the moon was casting shadows from the constant passing clouds in the night sky, filling the empty parked streets of Washington, D.C. with an odd sense of fear. The 5 players of the game proceeded towards the center of the ellipse. In the distance was the presidential Christmas tree in full view of the Washington Monument. 5 steps of footprints were heard to approach the odd phenomena. A single red ornament was laying in the grass, emanating a bright red light. The 5 players approached, one wearing a red scarf and a dark black overcoat with hood drawn over her face. Another was wearing a long trench coat with his head tucked into it. The third came only wearing a short-sleeved black-collared shirt, a pair of navy blue jeans, and wore an odd silver hat that looked tattered. The bill of the hat loomed over his mask. The fourth came garbed in a thin black cloak, while the fifth arrived in a black suit and tie. A white undershirt was visible from his mask in plain view for all to see. As the 5 stood in front of the ornament, the red light blared, and their cell phones all rang at once.
Now gaze upon the faces of those who are willing to kill you for a selfish desire that they have declared more prominent than your very life. Stare and know them. Do not be afraid to introduce yourselves.
The first to reveal their masks was Small. She had long, thick black hair that was like obsidian as she lowered her hood. Sharp, jagged, tangled, and full of knots, the hair was rather curly and straight at the same time. Her mask showed 2 sunken lenses of reflected glass with red card patterns tattered along over the face of the mask. Red in detail, with black clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades carved into the mask with impeccable detail. She then spoke.
Hello, my name is Red 6, and I'm here to kill you all.
She then backed up to let the next person take the floor. Her voice was electronic, as if masking it for some reason. The man wearing a trench coat came up and revealed his mask, metal, with incredible craftsmanship done to the chainmail effect of the blue scales upon his mask. Impressions of teeth lined the outside, with 2 reflective glass lenses that dipped at the bottom for a better peripheral view. His mask had scratches and what appeared to be a dent in the cheek from a bullet. The man spoke and announced himself. I'm Hunter, and I'll win again. Backing down to let the third speak. Lifting his head, the man said nothing as his 2 eye holes in the mask were illuminating the white slightly from the small LED lights in the sides that reflected from the glass. Other than that, the mask had cracks in it and was purple from the looks of it. The man said nothing other than tossing a piece of paper that read Enigma in purple Sharpie marker. The others had it confused, except the last 2. The next man up was a messy, gangly haired ghoul that his hair was almost dipped in hair gel. His mask was yellow, with black spheres making patterns across his face. It formed a sinister smile, with what appeared to be an eye in the middle of the grin. He had an upside-down cross in his forehead of the mask, which also consisted of reflected glass lenses. He then spoke. I am the Crypt Keeper. I could not refuse my master's call for blood. The man cackled, with his fingers convulsing and tensing, like a spider with a twitch. Hunter rolled his eyes and muttered to him, Just shut up, will ya? You're giving me a headache with that little screech. The 5th member agreed and spoke.
I concur with Snake Eyes over there.
The 5th wore a green mask with what appeared to be a seashell pattern over his mouth and jaw, with familiar wreaths around the outskirts of each line. There were a series of triangles upon his cheeks and around his eyes as well, and it also appeared the mask had a vocal manipulator.
I am Verde. I come to claim my prize that you all will have to pay.
The masked man in green said with a curt nod. Finally, the ornament glowed a bright red once more, and the voice came from it.
You only have but a few minutes to prepare yourselves. Within 10 minutes' time, the truce is off, and you may proceed to eliminate the targets. Let the games begin.
Red 6 and Enigma turned on heel to walk into the darkness while KK began to laugh hysterically as Verde shook his head and turned to leave as well. Hunter and KK stood across from one another, the only ones left around the ornament, in fact. That's an impressive act you have going on there, Hunter said as he stared into KK's reflective eyes. But it will get you nowhere here, if that's all it is. Craning his neck abnormally to the side, his long hair draped down, with unnatural posture, the man walked over towards Hunter. It's not an act. The odd man turned to look at him, and this time started to laugh, but it was different, deviant almost, as Hunter noticed a knife being pulled from his robes. Reacting quickly, Hunter began to draw his own weapon, but KK was too quick and lunged at him, forcing him to the ground. Sprawling over Hunter like a spider, he felt an auditory sniff come from KK. Fear. It's so potent. No, not fear. Arrogance. Hunter was surprised by the strength of the lanky-looking individual and shoved him off eventually. And you're a nut job. What else is new? KK laughed in his high-pitched, ridiculous laugh once more. That was right! I was right! He exclaimed as he got to his feet. I can't kill you, but Master never said anything about torturing you before 10 minutes. At that moment in time, they were about to draw firearms. The players have been announced. The game's set. All that is left now is to sit back and watch the chaos and future unfold.